Come on and go.
Herzlich willkommen. Ihr hört 4Wrestle, den Wrestling Podcast. Heute mit einem Catch as Catch Special. Wir interviewen heute Rico Bushido. Durch die Sendung führen King Axel und Chelsea Blood. Wir wünschen euch viel Spaß beim Zuhören. Und nun, let's go!
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard right. This is Catch as Catch Special with myself, Chelsea Blood, King Axel to my left, and down there is our guest of the night, our man, Rico Bushido.
What's up, everybody? How you doing? Thanks for watching this.
Yeah, we're doing fine, but before we start, we got a little surprise for you, like I told you, because a compadre of you sent us a little video. Let's check it out.
Somebody I know.
An my man Rico Bushido. Hab viel Spaß da in diesem Interview, raste da ordentlich aus und expose mal ein paar Dinge. Hau mal ein paar Dinge raus für die Klicks bei guten Chelsea. Wir wissen schon. Tudelu.
It's my cousin, the Mac.
The Mac, ladies and gentlemen, yes, we have WXW legend Rico Bushido in the house. First of all, my first question is, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for asking. Yeah, man, I am just keeping myself busy, keeping myself entertained. Still wrestling, still doing a lot of commentary. We've got the Unlimited Wrestling Festival coming up, Wrestival, which is next weekend. I'm going to be doing live commentary for that. Of course, I still work for Pro Wrestling Holland, which is my home promotion. I do both commentary and wrestling for them as well. And I opened my second business this year, so everything is going pretty well.
Yes, first of all, congratulations on being the PWH Tag Team Champion here.
Thank you very much. Along with my boy Kenzo Richards, shout out to the sensei of chops. Him and Daddy Rico Bushido became the tag team champs of Pro Wrestling Holland last weekend, which was nothing short of sensational, baby.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Now, my first question here is, we all know COVID has hit everything, and I mean really everything. What was the difference between pre-COVID era and the COVID era for you as a professional wrestler?
Well, yeah, you just hit on it when you said it basically changed everything, right? I was basically in the middle of my in-ring comeback when COVID hit. And I remember my last show was Wrestling Cult. And after that, and we already knew it was going to be bad, but after that, it was pretty much announced everywhere that everything was going to close down and there were not going to be any more live events. So for me personally, I had to find another means of how can I say it? I needed some creative expression. So I started streaming every night. I started doing the Corona Diaries. which later turned into the Bushido Diaries on Instagram. So I was occupying myself with that. And I did manage to do a couple of shows. I did a couple of shows for Mark Landauer in Austria. But again, it's the COVID era and the travel just fucking sucks, man. The travel is horrendous because basically I always compare like traveling in the COVID times to like a computer game. You have to finish every stage, and at the end of every stage, there's like an end boss, which is like a checkpoint or a vaccination checkpoint. Or sometimes you have to fill in documents depending on where you have to go. But it's terrible. That's just what I want to say. Then you couldn't fit a lot of people in the venues, which lasted a long fucking time. So I got through it. I didn't have a lot of problems getting through it. I know a lot of people didn't do great, but I did miss being in the ring, both doing commentary, announcing, wrestling on a more regular basis, and interacting with the people, the fans. You know, I'm a born entertainer, and I thrive off of the fan reaction. That's why I always love to go live, like streams like these. I mean, I was made for this shit because I can ad-lib, I can improvise, you know, I can let loose all of my madness, you know, without it being predetermined. So I really missed that. And now we've basically landed in a totally different landscape wrestling-wise. A lot of stuff came back, but nothing came back the same. Some things improved, some things did not improve. Some organizations were not as good off as before the COVID, where they could run regularly. So it is very different, especially at the start. There were still a lot of rules and regulations in place. Luckily, they lifted it. Let's hope they will. We won't go back to that time. You know, I think we've learned a thing or two, especially because most promoters, I know Pro Wrestling Holland did that. They kept on trying to find a new date, and the date kept on getting rescheduled, planned, you know, pushed back. And it takes a lot of adjustment, you know, and it takes a lot from a promoter, from a promoting standpoint as well. So I think people learned a lot to handle difficult situations and all that shit. So yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm high as fuck, but I'm just going, guys. I'm just going. Next question.
Yes.
Next question.
All right.
Here we go.
All right.
We got a little Friday. It's a Friday night with your boy Rico Bushido. What's up?
Yeah, man. All right, we got our first question of the viewers. William Ragmeyer asked, I have a question for Rico. How did you get to do wrestling commentary? Because my dream is to do wrestling or sports commentary in the future as well.
That's a very good question. So basically, hold up. I have to make contact with the spirit world real quick. Hold up.
Hey.
Some of the ancestors to give me the power to answer that question.
Yeah, man.
So basically, when I founded Pro Wrestling Holland, along with the rest of the guys like Tenqua and a bunch of those guys, Tommy Ant, Malachi Black, those guys, I invited like a new friend of mine. This is a weird story, by the way. So I invited this new friend of mine who I met because I went into we moved into a new apartment in Harlem, and there was this old couch, and we threw it out and we tossed it at the garbage dump right in front of our house, right where you have to leave the garbage. So this guy rang my doorbell and he asked me, can I take this couch? I said, please, by all means, take that fucking couch. I don't want that couch. And he liked it. That guy was a body artist, so he was one of those freaks that hangs himself with hooks in his back and that type of stuff. You know, pushes needles through his cheeks and his like hammers needles through his nose, all that type of shit, right? Weirdo shit, right? So this guy, we got to talking, and he said, I'm in the entertainment business. So I said, dude, I'm in the entertainment business as well. I'm a professional wrestler. And this was in 2006. This was in 2006. So I met this guy. Then we founded Pro Wrestling Holland, and I invited him. And I said something through the microphone. And this guy said, you've got an amazingly unique sounding voice. Everybody that will hear your voice will remember it. Do you want to host my parties? And these were fetish parties. So people were walking around naked and in leather and like fucking slaves and everything. So I said, why the fuck not? Let's just go. You know, you only live once, you know, allegedly. So I don't have a fetish at all, you know, but I like crazy shit, you know. So I started doing that. I started announcing the acts and stuff. I started rolling into that whilst I was wrestling. Then I think I did commentary for WXW once, probably back in 2012 or 2013, somewhere in that era. And I remember it was 2014 or 2015, around that time, when I thought, dude, I am getting up there in age. This is not sustainable, but I love professional wrestling and I want to be doing professional wrestling for the rest of my life. I want to be involved in the business, of professional wrestling for the rest of my life. So I have to find something that is more sustainable, something that can always keep me around. So I was talking to Taz from WXW and I said, like, I want to get off the road wrestling regularly. Do you have something else for me to do? And then the office decided that they wanted to do Shotgun, WXW Shotgun.
Mhm.
And I think they launched this in 2015, if I'm correct. And
Around that period,
yeah. So I started doing the English ones because they wanted to get a foothold on the I'm going to close my window because there's cars coming by. Hold up.
No
What do you guys
problem.
think? What do you guys think of the shorts? Nice pattern, right?
So, wenn ihr Fragen habt, stellt es ruhig in die Kommentare hier. Rico
Wir haben
Bushido
schon
wird
einige. Wir haben schon einige.
Here we go. I'm sorry about that, guys.
All right. One thing, because we got one bad pun from our bad pun king about the couch.
Oh,
Recorrector
no.
that couch. What couch?
The couch you throw out.
Oh shit, Recorrector the couch. I used to have a finisher called to Recorrector, I believe. But this is a long time ago. So back in 2015, I started doing a Shotgun. And then I don't know how I got into commentary, but I started doing live commentary. And then I started doing it every show. And then I was the English commentator for 5 years, I think, in a row, 5 years, something like that, for WXW. So that's basically how I rolled into it. To keep an even longer story shorter, I'm horribly failing at that today, but hey.
I mean,
No,
it's
bro.
totally fine to tell us the story. That's how we got this interview here. But my next question is something for the faint of heart. Last year we learned that Carsten Beck has passed away.
Yes.
What was going through your mind after you heard this?
So this was in 2020. So this is 2 years ago.
My fault.
2020, man.
This was 2020. So I knew he was very sick. Because I kept in contact with his girlfriend throughout his sickness period. And what was going through my mind? Well, that's very difficult to answer, because if you lose people close to you, there's always, at first, there's a feeling of disbelief. Even though you know the person is sick, there's always a feeling of disbelief. And that's probably self-protection, I guess, you know. self-protecting mechanism. But as soon as it sank through, it was just sad, man. It was just really. I remember feeling really sad, and I heard the news, and I had to let it sink in for a minute, and then I just broke down and cried in the kitchen. And my wife came up to me and said, "What's going on?" And I told her, and it is so sad to see somebody that young just not being able to continue his life, and for the people around him, like his grandparents, having to outlive him, and his girlfriend, and you build up, especially when you're on the road, like you build up this amazing catalog of road stories and stuff, and especially interaction with people. So you always share a different bond with the wrestlers, especially than with other people in or outside of the business. And that's because they all know we all share common experiences, and we've been through certain stuff together. So that forms a bond. And then to have somebody, that you form that bond with, just being ripped away, it was slowly deteriorating, but still, when he was gone, it still felt like he got ripped away. So yeah, it was unbelievably sad. And we all still miss him very much. And I think the business misses a guy like that as well, because he was exactly his type of wrestling, his style, and his mind for wrestling was what the business needs. And is what the business needs, So yeah.
Wow,
Right.
that's something very different to hear from someone who was really near close to Carsten Beck. But I have a next question from a viewer named Nikola Basic. Who is your favorite wrestler, and how was it to wrestle with Tommy End, aka Malachi Black?
Well, my favorite wrestler is not Tommy End. So it's a two-part question. Who's my favorite wrestler? First is Shawn Michaels. I have to put him on top of my list. He made a very large impact on my childhood. And in the whole forming of Rico Bushido, he had a very I was always drawn to the cool guy persona. I love the Fonz in Happy Days, guys like that, just the cool guy. Shawn Michaels was cool, and he was a villain, and he was bad, and he was egotistical, and he danced around, and every move he made was elaborate and huge, and the show he put on, and the charisma just radiating from just standing there, being able to do that, both as a fan, back in the days, as an adult wrestler who's been doing this for almost 20 years. I have nothing but admiration for that. And I can list you a whole bunch of guys. Ric Flair is up there for me. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Bret the Hitman Hart, I fucking love. But also another inspiration for me until this fucking day is The Rock. So that's the first part of the question. To wrestle Malachi Black, to me is just, normal, because, I've known him for 20 years, and we came up together in the business. So yeah, to me, he's hugely talented. He's always been talented and charismatic, always been doing his own thing. Always very dedicated to whatever the fuck it was where he was up to. So yeah, wrestling him was always easy, man.
All right. Now we got to my category here. I name you a wrestler, and you tell us a story you had with this wrestler.
Whoa, I don't know about that.
Let me tell you the first name. Matt Riddle.
So now I'm just going to tell you what everybody knows. Yeah, I met Matt at WXW in 2000, probably 17, I guess. Or was it 2018?
I probably think 2018 was that with Lucha Underground.
All right, so he came to WXW a bunch of times, and we became friends because of the smoking, of course. I think we have like a similar type lifestyle. We met and we got along great. So we were smoking outside all the time. And of course, I stopped taking weed to Germany because I did it so many times. And I always thought, like, this one time I'm going to fuck up, I'm going to get arrested, right? And I was like stopped by the police so many times, but they never found it, right? So I'm counting my blessings. So I'm not doing that anymore because, you know, I think my luck has run out. We're not risking anything. But back in the days, I did. So this one time, I was doing the meet and greet for the Q&A for superstars, and it was the Lucha Underground one because and I knew Matt for a while by that time, and I was interviewing Vampiro. And he was standing on a little stage, and I was standing in between the fans, right, to answer their questions and everything. And well, that's basically what I was doing, holding the mic for them. So I asked him a question on behalf of one of the fans, and he was answering it. He was looking right at me, right, Vampiro. And all of a sudden, I feel a rear naked choke from behind. And I felt it wasn't hard or anything, but I felt by the way it was applied that it wasn't a fucking fan doing it. I had nowhere to fucking go. And I'm a very strong individual because I've been doing martial arts all my life, right? So I just felt him clamp on it, just dragged me backwards. Like in the crowd, everybody was looking for it. I heard, dude, have you got some weed on you?
Awesome.
And Vampiro got pissed, dude. He didn't know what was going on. He said, "Excuse me?" He was like, "Oh, sorry, man." That was Matt Riddle, dude.
All right. Now we got from a viewer has some quick fire for you.
Rapid fire. All right.
Penta es cero miedo of Ray Phoenix.
Ray Phoenix.
Walter or Bad Bones?
Walter.
AEW or Attitude Era WWE?
Attitude Era WWE. I'm old.
Austin or
what
Rock?
The fuck do you expect, dude?
Austin or Rock?
Oh, that's so hard. Austin.
All right, and now final one: Triple H or Undertaker?
Taker.
Oh.
All right, there was your rapid quick fire for that.
All right, I have a next question from a viewer named Loser Mika. Yes, he asked me, since the next annual Shortcut to the Top is coming up, are you gonna to participate on that Shortcut to the Top match?
No, I'm not going to go back to WXW.
Oh. All right. My next question is a very hard one. We had the speaking out movement in the whole wrestling world.
Yeah.
It was also concerned in WXW and in Germany overall.
Yes.
Now tell us what is your point of difference from the speaking out thing.
My point of what?
Your point of view, POV.
My point of view. My point of view is that at a certain point, things started rolling with Max, with David Starr. That's where it kicked off, and I just had him on my stream a day before, right? So we were still talking when it happened, and I had messaged him like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm just reading something, and you better lawyer up because this might lead to some shit, right? I didn't know what had happened, and then I saw him that he already had replied to people on Twitter saying that he was looking into gray rape and that type of stuff. So I thought this motherfucker has really fucked up. You know, this is some bad shit. So like that, I broke off communication. And basically from there, the ball started rolling throughout the Indies, right? You had the massive wave in England, and then some stuff happened in Europe. And it just basically, it was like a snowball that just kind of fizzled out. And like the last fizzles where people started using it against each other, and even guys speaking out, saying that they were tied up by other wrestlers for fun. And then it just escalated in like people trying to manipulate women into coming out and all that type of stuff, like guys doing that. So it turned into like this complete. It was something very powerful, but it kind of turned into something into a clown show at the tail end of it. My point of view is that this was very much necessary because we need a cultural shift in the way we interact with each other when it comes to men and women interacting together, especially in a working environment. Because I think what is very important in all of this is that, after all, it's your work, and you shouldn't shit where you eat, and nobody should feel uncomfortable going to work. So a cultural shift was needed. And when I look at the result, then what I see from my point of view, and this is, I cannot be everywhere all at once, is that it worked. Because I think women are just being treated better in the wrestling industry in general. And like, I'm not talking about in terms of equality and them having an equal amount of matches. And that's not the case, but there are more male wrestlers than there are female wrestlers. So there's a huge discussion that we still have to have about all of that shit. But from what I've seen is that women are being treated with more respect. And people are just watching, their behavior more because they know that actions can have consequences.
Exactly. All right. Now I got a question for you. Now we spoke about
for me. You've been
Of
talking
course
to
for
that
you.
guy all of this time, and now you've got a question for me.
Of course. No, we spoke about WXW before, and now we want your personal view on the product right now.
I don't know. I cannot comment on that because I have not seen the last. Let's see. What was the last thing I saw from WXW? I saw somewhere. I saw a clip of two guys running around the arena calling Oscar's name, and that was basically it. So I cannot. I know. Jurgen was champion, but I mean, this guy rides with me all the time. He rode with me this weekend, but for the life of me, I do not know if he's WXW champion right now or not. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Clue me in. What's going on? Because let's be honest, guys. There's so much fucking wrestling out there to follow. You know, and like, there's so much to follow. Like, you cannot keep up with everything. But how are they doing nowadays?
Justin, that is now your topic.
Come on.
Answer, brother, bro. Give me a good answer. Give me an honest
Okay.
answer.
My point of view of WXW is currently they are struggling. They are really, really struggling with some bad decisions all over the matches, and that's all I can say there.
But what do you regard? What do you see as a bad decision? Because like you're looking at it from a fan point of view, but maybe you can clue me in. I can shed some light on it.
We had the situation with you spoke it, Jörn Simmons and the WXW title. They first got changed it from X-Men to Tristan Archer. Then from Tristan Archer to Jörn Simmons. Then from Jörn Simmons to Tristan Archer back. That's all
Oh, he's
over
not the
a
champ
full month.
anymore.
He is apparently not the champ anymore.
Okay.
I wish he could be a champion one more time, because we all know his runs back in the days was phenomenal, and I mean,
that
really
was unbelievable.
phenomenal.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah,
That was the golden period. I always refer to that as the golden period because like it looked like all of the stars were aligned. Because like not only it wasn't just Jörn, but it was his entire team. It was Alpha Kevin. It was what's his name? Marius from Beethoven.
Correct. And Melanie Gray. Do not forget that.
Melanie. And then you had guys like Bad Bones being his opponent, you know? And then those two just going all out. It was just and you had Andy in the mix and all that type of stuff, you know? And that was just really,
he
really
brought his chair.
That steel
Right?
chair was from the matchup between Jörn Simmons and Bad Bones John Klinger from WXW Shotgun to
Dude,
the Top
isn't that
2016.
so to me, right? I think that's the people are going to laugh at this maybe because there are so many technical highlights, and I know that a lot of fans have a very different view of what exactly work rate is than I do, and fans look at stuff differently. And I know there were some great fly-ins at WXW, but to me, that was my favorite WXW match of all time because it was so much fucking drama. And this was the first time I had to go at it alone on commentary, and I just fucking felt it, and you can hear it back in my voice on commentary. All that stuff, I was fucking involved. Of course, I'm going to be biased, right? But I love that fucking match so much, man.
All right.
True. I mean,
but now, so to me, for you, is there hot potatoing the belt back and forth? That's your issue with the belt.
not only that, but storytelling wise, it's just like with WWE.
Oh yeah.
And the sporting operating director is Norman Harras.
Yeah, I don't like that guy.
Oh, in real life or now in wrestling?
I don't like that dude.
Oh. Okay.
Good on them. Good on them.
Yeah, and he's also trying to regain the shotgun title in his position as well.
I think that's storyline, so I'm not following that shit. I don't know. You guys are telling me, so all right.
And they killed the shotgun lottery, where we had this shotgun lottery situation where you never knew who gonna face the shotgun champion, and it got a draw, and that was a surprising moment.
Who is the shotgun champion?
It's confusing. I think Maggot is currently the shotgun champion.
Oh,
yes,
Maggot.
Maggot.
I like Maggot.
Okay, now my next question.
You know who I like?
Shoot it.
The other guy, Ahura.
Ahura sexy.
Because I do, like I told you guys before, I do commentary for Unlimited, And then I saw him because I had never seen him at WXW as a singles wrestler, and then I saw him at Unlimited, and he reminded me of the Velveteen Dream a little bit. You know what I mean? He kind of had that vibe, and he played it out really fucking well. So I like, that's the guy I enjoy watching.
Now, my next question is, who is your top 3 European wrestlers who the fans need to watch?
New up and comers or current wrestlers, or
It depends
Let's do
on you.
both.
How do you want to ordering that?
it's like I think for me current rating current wrestlers is easier than like up and comers. But there are a couple of up and comers I want to mention first. Okay, so we're forgetting about all the current stars, right? Up and comers, number 1 who you want to look out for is Nicolas Kloot.
King fucking Clute.
King fucking Kloot. Do you know this guy?
Yes, the
No, I
current
watch
Unlimited Challenge
Unlimited.
champion.
I watch
Yes.
Unlimited, so yeah.
Do you watch it with my commentary?
Of course.
You
Hell
should
yeah.
watch it with my commentary, the English version, brother. I love Kloot. I've seen his progression throughout the years, doing commentary for Unlimited. And that guy's a fucking star, man. That guy's a fucking star, and I think he's the most entertaining guy in Germany right now. And he's got what it takes to become the next Absolute Andy. That guy is really one to look out for. Another guy's Crowchester. I would put Crowchester on number 2. Very charismatic. I like the whole Crow thing. Yeah, I'm really digging that. Another guy I like the Danny Sparks, the Black Dragon from Belgium. He's another guy to look out for. I actually wrestled him last weekend. Tebow, do you know that guy? Is a Belgian wrestler as well.
Yes, I know him.
He's really talented. Another guy, but he's still like he is very talented. But he does a lot of the stuff that everybody does. But do you know the what's his name again? Juval, the Israeli Eagle or something.
I heard of him.
Juval Goldstein or Goldschmidt, or I don't know all the Jewish names. But no, but this guy is insanely talented. You know, he just has to learn a thing or two. But this guy is insanely talented as well. So those are a couple of my new guys with Kloot leading the list right now for me.
All right. So I got another name for where we want to hear a story from you. We saw this person earlier today, the Mac.
Oh,
Jesus Christ. I'm thinking about a story to tell about the Mac. I fucking love that guy. He is always he is a positive dude, and I like positive people. You know, he is always uplifting. He's always in a good mood. You know, he's always fucking on as fuck. You know what I mean? Even after I remember I think it was, I don't know when it was, but it was one of the weekends, WXW weekends. It could be Tag League, could be 60 Carat. But we were out, knocked out. Me, Yearn, Dirty Dragon were just knocked out in a room, and Mac just walked in. He said, "Guys, are you going to do something? What are you guys up to? What are you guys doing? What are you guys?" And Mac was just still bouncing around. I was like, no. What? Rico Bushido doesn't want to go out. What? It was just really hyped up. So that's the Mac. I love that guy. It's hard not to love that dude, you know. And he's a very good wrestler. And I think it's a shame he wasn't picked up by WWE for the 205 division. You know.
Yeah. All right. Another name on the list. Bad Bones John Klinger.
I always tell John, and I said this from the start, like the fat in me always tries to look at wrestling through the eyes of a child, right? Because that was my favorite time in wrestling when I wasn't in the business yet. I'm sorry. And I always tell John, if I was a kid, you would be my favorite wrestler. Because that guy is basically like the total package for a wrestler. You know, he looks like an action hero. He looks like somebody from a movie, you know, with all the tattoos and like his incredibly like large frame, you know, and he's not wearing those tights anymore, but he's got like fucking enormous calves and like he looks like a proper like Marvel type character, right? And like moves around great in the ring. He's got years of experience, and like you can see like kids in the audience really gravitate toward a guy like that who looks like the freakishly muscular wrestler. I love that, and he brings in a lot of drama. And I like his matches are always so easy for me to do commentary on because he really works and he takes the time to work. And I see what he is working because I'm a worker as well. And that synergy just fucking works. And then you can like describe the situation as he is, you know, as he is basically acting it out. And that's perfect for me, you know? So I love John Klinger, man. He's been in the business for 18 years, I think, right now. So that's a long time, and I have nothing but respect for that. I think he broke in the same year that I broke in. So yeah, he's old school, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Speaking about John Klinger, we got a fan question again. Opinion on the Rice group there was in a WXW.
Oh, my favorite group.
Rice, so yeah, but like I think Rice could have been bigger than it was. I think like we could never actually from the get-go properly explain what Rice was and why they were there. Because they were a group of guys that previously had wrestled for GFW, but apparently they didn't want us to allude to that. So then we started saying they were extremists, and we couldn't say that. So it was very hard to tell the story of Rise. Yes, they were a group of guys with the same goals, but we never found out what it was from the get-go. But it worked to a certain extent. But when it didn't work, it just dragged on way too long, you know, and it basically kept Bouncer and Kiev in limbo a little bit, you know, and they like and as soon as they became the Purge Club, which I love personally, another group I love doing commentary on, then they were gone from WXW. So you know, what could have been, I think, is bigger and badder and greater than this. That, you know.
All right,
I loved having those guys around again, like personally.
That's true. I would, if I would turn back the time, I would go and cancel this Rice split up here.
Yes.
Well, I would make it bigger than it was. You know, I would make it definitely. I wanted to see it bigger than it was. But.
True.
All
right.
I mean, every time I'm chilling with my guys and they said like, yeah, Rice could be a bigger and better thing. I told them, yeah, if Rice would get booked perfectly, then yeah. But then no.
Yeah, well, that was not my that was not my favorite period of WXW. Like everything started going downhill. For me personally, from my point of view, and I was pretty outspoken about that as well. I've always been outspoken about that. Like, They really hit a speed bump, I think, then when it comes to creative. And some people left. Jacoby left. That type of stuff had an impact. Bones was gone after a while. So yeah, that was not my favorite period. But yeah, what could have been, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So,
My next question is, one of my favorite topics, the internet wrestling community.
Your
On
favorite
a
oh,
topic,
scale,
dude. Do you have a girlfriend?
no, apparently. I'm very
Wednesday
lucky that
night,
I
I
don't
need
have
to
a
stay
girlfriend.
up late. Watch Kenny Omega while I masturbate. Hey, mom, I need to watch this show. Meltzer says I'm in the key demo.
Oh my fucking god! Okay, back to my question. Um, how much do you hate the internet wrestling community from a scale from 1 to 10?
Nah, I don't hate them. Without them, I wouldn't be here, I guess, right? So no, I can't say I hate the internet community. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I don't know. I cannot rate my emotion about that, I guess. When I started
Hmm?
wrestling, the internet was in its early stages, and like Moonsault was pretty big back then. I don't know if it's big now because I haven't seen that for probably 15 years. I haven't been there.
it's still working.
It's still working. Okay, that says a lot if you bring it like that, right? Okay, so but back in the days after my matches, I used to go on there and read what people thought, after my WXW matches. And I remember like being like pretty bothered when they just started pissing all over my shit, But after a while, I was like, okay, consider the source. Look at you, dude, and look at those motherfuckers writing that, right? No disrespect, but we've got different lives, especially the people hating the most, not so successful in general, So I trained myself. Basically, I'm always somebody that believes like people can program themselves in a certain way. I just trained myself like not to let it get to me, but also to avoid that shit. So I don't have Twitter. I hear people on podcasts talk about Twitter wars, and I hear people like basically in everyday life talking about their Twitter wars, but I'm not part of that because I always try to surround myself with as much positivity as possible because I've noticed that has a positive effect on my life in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What the fuck was I
Yeah,
talking about? Oh, yeah, the internet wrestling community. So whatever they say, I do not let it get to me because I know they do not know what's going on behind the scenes. They do not. They think they do, and people talk. But even if a wrestler runs his mouth online and people pick that up, people do not have. They've never been there. They've never been. They do not know the situation. They do not know the feeling. They do not know the setting, and they don't know fuck all about professional wrestling. And they think they do, and they're interested in the drama behind the scenes more so than the drama that is being portrayed on TV, and I get that because it's a mysterious business. Everybody wants to have a peek behind the curtain, But
Yeah.
I always think it's sad when people act like they're aficionados, and it's so cringeworthy. Do not ever, if you are not 100% certain that you're an expert on something, do not act like one. Do yourself a favor, because in a couple of
yeah,
years you're gonna read back your own shit. I have that all the time, by the way. you read back your own shit and you just go like, oh, did I write that shit?
Yes, we all know that situation.
Yeah, so that's what I think when people write that shit. Oh, did you write that shit, dude? That's so bad.
Yeah. So, I have a topic right now that infects the wrestling world as today. We all heard of the scandal of WWE and Vince McMahon. What is your opinion on that?
That was some expensive pussy, dude.
Oh my god.
I don't get that. Why did he have to pay him that much money? You know, you can go to a prostitute for like starting at $50, I guess. Right? The fuck are we doing here? This guy, how can he be that stupid? I don't get it. And did you think like Christy had? What do I think? First of all, sensational. I love gossip like that. I love it, and you guys love it as well. And everybody that's judging loves it as well. This is fucking unbelievable, dude. This is interesting shit. This is basically Mr. McMahon that he portrayed himself as in the Attitude Era. This guy was acting. That's the dude. Oh, Sable. Stacey Keebler.
That was the guy. When the chair fall back to Stacey Keebler.
Stacey Keebler was fucking. Do you guys think Christy Hemme sucked him off? That's the story now, right? That's the story. He received oral sex allegedly. We're going deep into the gossip jungle now, ladies and gentlemen. So allegedly, he received oral sex, aka a suck job, from one of the female wrestlers, right?
Not only one.
What?
Not only one, reportedly 4.
At once?
No, during the time.
Did he get a rim job too?
We don't know, but reportedly he had at least 4 people with the NDAs. As of right now, as Wall Street Journal reported.
But the rest was office staff. This was one female wrestler. And allegedly she had been released in 2008. So some people had calculated it back. And it could have been Stacey Keebler. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm not saying anything, but there was a suck job given to Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
What can I say about this? Good job, Vince. Sorry you have to pay so much. He should have driven his like fucking limo behind the back of an old abandoned train station. I think the suck jobs over there are cheaper. Not a couple of million. Jesus Christ, dude.
All right, we got something from our King of Bad Puns. He wants to try something now.
I'm going to make Rico laugh. That's my freaking job. Even if it takes Ricola to do it. Ricola. Dude, you need to try harder, dude. That's a very bad joke. And I'm sure our dude over here is laughing so hard because it's not a very good joke. Jesus Christ.
He's our King of Bad Puns.
Very, very strange humor by that.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Yeah,
I go to South America a lot, and Rico means both rich and nice, or like good. Like when women say like the food is good, it's like que rico. Or when they say like the sex is good, it's que rico. So I always introduce myself as que rico.
Okay, right. I have one more question here.
Okay, you go first.
Yes. We talked a lot about WWE and the European wrestling here. But right now I want to hear about
We
What
didn't talk about WWE. We just talked about Vince McMahon's dick, dude.
Just,
A
just a
tiny
little
bit.
bit we talked. So my question
Goddamn,
is,
pal.
should I make the question in Vince McMahon
Yeah,
sound?
go ahead, dude.
Goddammit?
Go ahead. That's Vince
Do it.
McMahon.
Do
Yeah.
it.
Goddamn,
All right, my
pal.
question is, do you love my beloved company here right now as we produce some shit here like Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown?
If I love that,
Yeah,
what is
that's
the
my
question?
question.
If I
That's
like
my question.
SmackDown or Raw?
In the current times, yes.
No, I don't watch. I can't watch that. The whole thing is like it takes way too long. It's a lot of hours, and it's just filled with garbage. So, like there's not a lot of wrestling on there. So I don't think that I'm not in their age group. I think because it's like very childish, you know. And
To this day, yes, still
I
is.
like that's why I like the Attitude Era because I like adult stuff. And that's like it sounds weird, but like as a kid, I liked kid stuff, and now I'm a fucking adult. I love adult stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm not just
Yeah.
talking about the sex stuff, right? I'm talking about the I'm talking about the conflict, like the wrestlers amongst them. They could have like proper world conflicts and not the acted out like Broadway theater bullshit. You know, it's just not realistic anymore, and that's my problem with the whole product, current day product. I don't watch it. You know what I do when I'm working out? I throw one of those highlights on YouTube sometimes.
Yeah.
Just to keep up. I want to see Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. I want to see those guys.
Yeah.
But the rest, they have wrestlers like Dolph Ziggler and Rude, and they've had them for such a long time, and they're so incredibly good, but they're underutilized. You know,
Yeah.
all I see every week when I see the highlights, I see the Street Profits, and I see, you know, and that's what I see basically. The Street Profits are on that entire fucking show. I'm sick of the fucking Street Profits. Give me something new. Give me something unexpected. Not this
Yeah, we got
cartoon bullshit.
something. They delivered something for the German or the European wrestling community because a few weeks ago we had a new intercontinental champion from Austria.
Walter, that's good. That's great because Walter is completely different from anything they have. And he's kind of a throwback, like physically. He looks like an old grappler from the past, but like a real dude. You know what I mean? Like a real person. Not this Disney cartoon bullshit. He hurts people. He is out to demolish and inflict pain, show his dominance in the ring, and he does it in realistic fashion. So that's good. That's good. I cannot, but that's about it. You can throw him in the list of people that I'd want to see, and that's like a small list compared to what they have going on that roster right now. It's completely sucks, dude.
Right.
Like the other channel is not a lot better. AEW though.
Yeah. Speaking, I got one more name from where I want to hear a story from you. We spoke about him earlier. Absolute Andy.
Absolute Eddie, where did your buddy go?
I think he had some technical problem again.
What do you want to hear about Absolute Andy?
Give us what you think you want to tell.
I think he's a tremendous worker. He is and he's been around for such a long time and like always consistent with his work. And like he's a guy who's got a lot of eye for detail. And he's a smart guy. You can see that from the way people like work in the ring. The self-destructive types are usually not the smartest tools in the shed. Let me tell you that. Like the more you see them drop on their head, there's a fucking reason for that. Seriously.
Yeah.
And like he has always been a smart guy, always knew how to get like I like it when people know how to work their facial features and everything. Like their entire body, their entire posture, and use that to manipulate an entire audience. And he's a guy that can do that perfectly. So I've got a lot of respect for that. He got a little bit big, though. Is he still wrestling or not?
Right now we don't know because last
All
time
right.
we heard he was sick, but we don't know
Oh,
anything right now.
sick,
He
as
had a
in,
title defense but couldn't make it.
oh, like he probably had the flu or something, or I don't know.
Yeah, and since
What do
then we
people
don't know
have these
anything.
days? Monkeypox?
I don't know. But since then we didn't hear anything. So
Yeah, but
last
he's a
story.
he's a very good wrestler. I
All
think
right,
he's an
last name on my
example.
list: Tommy and
Malachi Black, right?
yes.
So, he's actually the first guy I saw wrestle in the Netherlands because a friend of mine, we had mutual acquaintances. A friend of mine took me on a show, and I think that was Tommy's second match. It was like a really small show in the Netherlands. So we got acquainted there. And ever since then, like I started New Blood Wrestling, my first organization, and that was back in 2004, I guess. Yeah, 2004, I guess, 2005. And I started running a lot of game expos. I let Tommy wrestle there. So that's where he got his experience for his first matches. And after that, I took him to WXW, and they really liked. I think you should ask them. By the way, should ask Hate. I guess Hate really liked him and his style and like his entire look and persona, and he became a mainstay stay there on an early age, and he's been going strong for like 20 years almost now. And he's still I think he's relatively injury free, even though he sometimes like has a pretty seemingly intense style. So he works hard for that. So that's great. And he's got a spot right now. He can make a living off of wrestling,
Yes.
and that's what he wanted. When I knew him, when I first got introduced to him, he was probably 17 or something, 17
Wow.
or 18 or something. And he always wanted to be a professional wrestler. And that's what he got to do. So he got to live his dream. And he's still doing his thing right now.
Yeah. And one match I think we all want to see in AEW because he's now there, Malachi's there, Claudio Castagnoli versus Malachi Black.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be good. The thing is, man, I just want to see Malachi Black just wrestle some normal matches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just wrestle some normal matches on a Wednesday night against some good guys. The hocus pocus I do not care for. Him surrounding himself with a bunch of other guys. I do not care for that. All that fucking entertainment bullshit. He's a great wrestler, and he should be able to show that. That's what I want to see. But the roster is thinned out, man. Everybody's injured over there.
Yeah. Sadly. So, last question for tonight. We spoke about Unlimited Wrestling earlier. How did you got to Unlimited Wrestling?
How did I get to? I think Martin was looking around for a commentator, and I think my friend Lex introduced me to him. He got in touch with me, and I started doing commentary, and from there on, we never looked back. And I've seen their progression. And it's funny, right? Because I've seen organizations come and go, and everybody wants to try something. And sometimes because you just see them come and go, and there's so much of them, and not a lot of them are really that successful, you kind of get conditioned to believe that, all right, this is just another guy. But you cannot think that way. Because I think Martin Beerens proved everybody wrong, going from like a normal YouTuber to actually start it. He's right at the beginning of building a wrestling empire, and he is very serious about that. And this guy is investing a lot of his time and his money and everything he's got into building this company. And gradually, you saw Unlimited Wrestling growing and maturing. And the people in the mainstays that he had from the start, guys like Nicholas Klute, developing themselves and becoming actual wrestlers that people want to buy a ticket for. And I think within like 2 years or 3 years, I think that's quite an achievement. Because you cannot tell me that not every other organization in Germany is watching them. It's not watching them right now. Everybody's watching them, especially for the Wrestlevel weekend that they've got coming up. That's just a testament to how serious Martin is and what he is able to do, what he's able to achieve.
Exactly.
And he just learns and learns and grows and grows. So I just want to, I would tell everybody to go and watch them, check out their stuff online. They bring out their entire events online in English with me on commentary and in German as well.
With Powerflow.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're doing a great job as well. So yeah, go check it out. It's all online. All his shows from month to month, and you can just follow the stories, and it's pretty cool. I think like they're a great alternative, and I think like above everything, competition is very important. I'm a businessman. Like my first company is I've got a temporary employment agency. If there's somebody, and this has happened, if there's somebody opening up a similar company down the road, I'm going to do my very best to work twice as hard to stay ahead of the curve. And who is going to benefit from that? Ultimately, my clientele, the consumers, the businesses that I do business with. And that's the same for wrestling, bro. That's the same for wrestling. So competition in the form of Unlimited Wrestling for, I don't know, GWF or WXW, that's not bad. That's good because everybody will be on their toes and everybody will be better. And the winners are the fans.
Exactly. In the COVID, we had, for example, the German companies working together to do something.
Yeah,
I
very
mean,
good.
GWF helped out, NEW helped out, they helped a lot out.
Yeah. Awesome.
And they did Shotgun 2022. And like our fan says, competition is important.
Yeah, they need to work together as well. But I've been saying that from the very fucking start, that people they need to work together. But the promoters do not always agree on that. And that will always be a sensitive subject. Unfortunately, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. You know, it's also the nature of the business. There's always a little competitive element in organizing a show and doing what we do.
Exactly. Final words and wise words from Rico Bushido. Thank you very much for being here tonight with us.
Thank you very much for having me. I enjoyed being your first. I was your first wrestling guest on this.
Yes, exactly. You were our first interview here.
Nice. I hope I provided you guys with some good content. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much for everybody that watched this. I know I can be quite elaborate from time to time, but it's because I smoke a lot of weed. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We just go deep as the abyss up here.
All right. Everyone, that's it for tonight. We thank you very much for watching. We got our outro, and then we are out. Thank you very much, and have a nice time.
Dies war der 4Wrestle Podcast. Ihr habt uns verpasst? Kein Problem. Ihr könnt jederzeit und von überall 4Wrestle noch einmal von vorne angucken und anhören. Der Videopodcast auf YouTube. Oder, wenn es gerade nicht mit dem Video gehen sollte, könnt ihr uns auch überall anhören. Auf Spotify, Amazon, Apple und Google. Wir bedanken uns, dass ihr uns zugehört habt oder angeguckt habt. Das war 4Wrestle Podcast. Ein Podcast der CASQ